I know there's a little bit of resistance to uPVC for that reason, and also the powder coating on the outside of aluminium is actually plastic. But there are places in the world like the States and Europe where aluminium's not really considered, and uPVC tends to be the entry level. So just basically explain to me why the difference in materials. Welcome to the Smart Living Spaces podcast, where we talk about building comfortable, healthy, affordable homes for everyday people. It's architectural design with people and planet in mind. Building for the future, not just for today. So hi everyone, it's Sharon from Smart Living Spaces and welcome to this podcast episode. I'm talking to Stephanie Murphy from Ambiance and we're talking uPVC windows. So if you're an architectural designer, architect, builder, even a developer and you don't know who Ambiance is, tune in. And if you're a homeowner and you're interested in building better and building a healthy, comfortable home, windows are a key component to get right. So Stephanie and I are here to break it down for you in real simple language. So welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me today.
Awesome. So let's start right at the beginning because people might not know who you are and might not know who Ambience is. So tell me about who you are and what Ambience does.
Absolutely. Well, if they don't know me, they will soon because I'm working my way around the country with presentations supporting architects. So I'm the architect specifier for Ambience uPVC windows. And based in Auckland with the manufacturing part of the company here, but full support throughout the country. And having said that, on the support for architects, I mean, we support the builders. The team goes out to the builders and everyone comes into our showroom here in Wiri, Auckland. We can experience hands-on of the full range of products of windows and doors, which is really helpful to be able to walk through a door and open it and lock it and see how the windows are lovely and sealed as you close them. So we do encourage everyone to come along to the showroom if they're looking to install Ambience windows in their new home. Basically, I guess my role is to bridge the gap between the design intent, the wish list for the homeowners, to the manufacturing of the product, which is all based here in New Zealand.
Fantastic. And we'll get a little bit into your fantastic manufacturing setup in a little bit. But sure, let's just talk about the material because uPVC is very different to aluminium. And I'm sure that you've come up with this with your conversations with architects. We use aluminium mainstream here in New Zealand. And of course, we now thermally break it. I just want to say to anyone listening to this, we thermally break it with plastic. I know there's a little bit of resistance to uPVC for that reason, and also the powder coating on the outside of aluminium is actually plastic. So, but there are places in the world like the States and Europe where aluminium's not really considered, and uPVC tends to be the entry level. So, just basically explain to me why the difference in materials.
I'm a Kiwi. Born and bred, and I know that we're sort of brought up with the cold aluminium or the option of wooden joinery, which is interesting because we need more options. The uPVC option, I'm quite excited and passionate about it to educate New Zealanders on it. I mean, I know a lot of New Zealanders have travelled and they have experienced uPVC in other countries. It's the most used window and door joinery in the Western world, for good reason. For example, I can lean up against this. This is the uPVC here. I can lean up against it. It's a neutral. It's not a conducting material like aluminium. By that, I mean, aluminium can really heat up in the heat of summer on the northern side, especially here in New Zealand, to a burning point. And of course, in the cold, climate and the southern sort of side of our homes, it becomes freezing and that impacts the temperature of what we're living in. So uPVC doesn't do that, and so it's not affecting your home comfort basically.
Yeah.
For other good reasons, it doesn't form condensation on it, so which is quite a hazard for us as New Zealanders, we're so used to our children growing up with asthmas and respiratory issues. Well, that's due to the mould that's caused by the condensation on cold frames. So this is going to just be a much better product for the well-being of your family and the occupants inside.
Really beautifully explained, Steph, because I jump into the technical side of explaining this to say, so for the architects and architectural designers, aluminium has a much higher thermal conductivity value, which means it can transfer heat and cold far more quickly than the uPVC. So it's a good insulating window frame, isn't it?
It totally is, and it's so critical for the building envelope because we're now building correctly with the insulation on all the exterior walls. The hole in the boat effectively has been the window frames. We've double glazed now, so we're getting there. Now we need to correct the window frames.
Yes. Now on that's a beautiful segue, because not only is your windows quite well performing thermally, superior to aluminium, because you're not having to break it with plastic to make it work better, but you also have a recessed window frame. Now we have this wonderful detail, and I'm going to get a little bit in the technical weeds, called E2AS1, and people tend to use the details in that part of our building code as status quo. Ambiance doesn't. And actually, Steph, I was on a phone call with a passive house designer in Atlanta, in Georgia, and I pulled up our building code and I said, look at our window detail. And he went, oh, I can see so much wrong with this detail. Gosh, I thought we were bad. So that detail is predominantly used for, I would say, 75 to 90% of new homes. But you guys have a better option, and that is that you can recess it into the wall so it's in line with the insulation. Talk to me a little bit about that.
That's right. We do call it an inline window system. So it's not sitting outside of the thermal, the building envelope there. It's actually in line with the wall insulation. So there's no air leakage, there's no thermal break there. It's a perfect insulating line. Without getting technical on it.
Yeah. And
you might be able to add to that.
Well, there's two things, and one I'll get you to speak to is that you've worked with ProClimate to get a much better sealing tape to go around on your uPVC frames. So for builders, your frames arrive to site without the glass installed, so they're able to, and without reveals, so you're able to tape that frame into the building envelope really, really well and into the opening. So we're not getting air movement through this sort of leaky backing rod and seal detail. But also you guys take care of the flashing details, because I think that's one of the biggest barriers of that's great, your product does this, but the cladding does this, and how do we marry the two? You've taken responsibility for that, and you have got this variable flashing system that means that you can recess those windows without compromising the weather tightness.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, because a lot of the industry talk about air tightness. We prefer to say weather tightness. It's an airtight system, but it's very well thought through, intelligently designed and engineered to be ventilating as well, with the way that the system opens, and the recess makes sure that weather tightness is secure. We've been there, done that with homes that aren't built correctly, and this is the correct way to do it with an inline system.
We're not creating another leaky building crisis with your windows. Just sort of segueing a little bit is that you can do an amazing configuration too. So you're able to offer the configurations that Europeans are probably very used to with, and I'm throwing you a bit of a curveball here, sorry, Steph, but with the tilt and turn options, so that you're actually able to, you're talking about the ventilation of the systems, you're able to offer people a window that they can open up quite securely with a base hung tilt and turn option, clean really easily because they can open it. So I don't want to steal your thunder. You explain the rest of it.
This is our showstopper, the tilt and turn. So if you don't know this window system, yes, it's the European style of window. Kiwis are very used to the awning window, which opens from the bottom and is usually on a stay. which is quite vulnerable to breaking over time and very high maintenance. The European way is the window that tilts in about 100 mil from the top, and then it has mechanisms. You can close it, you turn the handle, and it hinges open to the side. Brilliant in so many aspects that, yes, practical for cleaning on the outside if you're on upper stories and you can't reach there without scaffolding. It's also totally secure, so you may just want the tilt option instead of the tilt and turn, where it's secure. It's got multi-locking mechanisms, great for air tightness, weather tightness, also security. So yeah, a real step up in security from what we're used to for New Zealand windows, which is just an added bonus to the performance of the window. So if you don't know this window, make sure that you come to our showroom and have a go of it. At our trade shows and events, people just are amazed by it because it opens in and it then closes. You turn the handle and it opens, like I said, on a hinge, and it's very clever engineering.
Yes, definitely. The multi-locking is something that really I loved about it, but it's also not flimsy. Like, these frames are actually very sturdy, and the doors and the windows are sturdy, so they feel firm. I think some people think plastic might be a bit, or uPVC might be a bit flimsy. And so I
think you're right. I think they plastic has got a bad rap, really, hasn't it, in New Zealand, that word. So we do use uPVC. It's a high quality, highly technically engineered, durable product. There's nothing flimsy about it. I think the PVC, the difference with that's a flexible material that you might find in children's blow-up swimming pools and things. So I guess that's where the confusion might come in. uPVC is a very structurally sound quality material, and it's not a one-use plastic. It's recyclable. So jumping around to another subject there, I know, but
yes, we'll get onto that in just a second, because there's a whole thing to unpack with that, Steph. Now, the thing that people always come back down to, homeowners, particularly builders and developers, is price point, right? And because aluminium's well known, people have their templates set up for it. They know sort of where it's sitting price wise. We know aluminium is cheaper than timber windows. So as you say, historically, timber windows might be double the cost, if not 2.5 times the cost of aluminium. And it's such a driving force that changes what actually goes into a house when the builder gets involved and money starts hitting a contract. But that doesn't always tell the full story, just thinking that aluminium's cheaper, because that's just based on historical reference and historical experience. Tell me about how you're finding the quotes that you're doing for your joinery compared to the stories you've heard about the same for the joinery costs for aluminium.
Yeah, we're listening to people as we progress. Our growth plans are established for the year, and we want to make sure that this product is available for all New Zealanders at the end of the day. So however we can make that work is what we're focusing on. We've got 3 tiers of beautiful products, starting at an entry level and then working its way up to a higher standard of more passive home type sliding doors and joinery. So depending on your project and depending on your wish list, what the end goal is for the homeowner or the occupant or the developer, we're going to work with you on that to make sure it's here and available for all New Zealanders. One way we're doing that is we're just jumping back a bit to coming back to how's it comparing to aluminium. Generally, for a home, if you're using thermally broken aluminium, it's very comparative to that. So it's very competitive, pretty much like for like in price. And obviously the more people use it, the more commonplace it becomes in our new builds in New Zealand and our renovations, then it'll become more the mainstream, and the costs will come down with that, because effectively we can bring more product in and make it work effectively in the factory. Where we've being clever on that is doing some standardized sizes. We've called it essentials. We're making sure that that is a full transparent, this is the size of your windows, this is the cost of your windows. Fill the factory and the costs come down on that. So that's available for everyone to have a look at. Any sort of differentiation in the size becomes a custom unit. But if you can work to these standard window sizes, which we typically all have in a bedroom and a bathroom, then that will bring your cost down a lot. And you can still throw in a beautiful custom wow factor door or raking windows or something special combined with those essential sizes.
Fantastic. And because people are talking to the company that's marketing, selling, manufacturing and supplying this product, obviously there's this incredible opportunity for collaboration to fine tune the window system, or fine tune the window choices, should I say, not the system, to suit the budget of the project, so people don't have to miss out on the benefits of uPVC just because, you know. So have a chat to Stephanie if you're a builder and you're coming up against price, and bring your architect or your architectural designer along. So I'm going to just link back to your recycling comment now, because you are a New Zealand manufacturer, which I think is really important to let people know. I'm big on supporting local manufacturers and part of a local building supply chain, but you supply Marley offcuts, your offcuts from your factory, or that's what I've heard. And the reason why I bring that up is because Marley's a household name with uPVC, and I think that there's we'll get into this in the next one, but there is a story that uPVC doesn't work in New Zealand, yet I guarantee you most homes would have Marley spouting and downpipes. But apart from supporting the recycling and having that part of your arm, you also have a really impressive manufacturing system set up there. I've had Benji, your famous Benji Simons, take me around for a tour of your factory, and you really lean into this lean manufacturing. You've got this fantastic equipment there. It's quite fascinating to watch. So talk to me a little bit about what that gives the business and ultimately how that benefits the client.
Of course. Yeah, thanks, Sharon. It is a pretty impressive factory, and we're more than welcome to show, independents or teams through. So I think it's a state-of-the-art factory, and as your project comes through, there's a little room for error. It's a very smooth and efficient operation, and we're very proud of it. It's a lot lower carbon to produce our windows than it is aluminium. We do have a fantastic story where any offcuts and shavings that are made are picked up by Marley pipes, and it's recycled for their underground pipes. So whatever we can do to keep the product out of landfill, and we're actually doing it when we're actioning it. So and we're very aware that it's got an end of life cycle of 50 plus years. We are in discussions with Marley Pipes and other companies to see the best way forward when that comes to the end of life cycle to recycle it. I believe it can be recycled many, many times and become a stronger product for the window framing. So, and anything else can be recycled again into something. Underground pipes is perfect, really. So making sure that we're stepping lightly and that it's all sustainable business going forward.
We love that. You've also got these amazing machines, which means that your process of being able to make these frames is so much faster. I've watched, you've got this machine that drills all the holes in the right places. So you're embracing sort of, I wouldn't say robotics, but you're embracing this kind of smart manufacturing, accurate process. And it's really impressive.
Yeah, we are. At the end of the day, our aspiration is for this to be for every New Zealand home, and we need to be efficient in what we're doing. The capacity's there, the efficiencies are there, and we're excited to hear that it's up and up for 2026 in the residential construction zone.
Awesome. Well, that's going to segue so beautifully into my next question, and it's a little bit of an intuitive one, I guess. You do talk to a lot of architects and designers because that's your job, but what's the general feeling that you're picking up with uPVC? Because I can remember when it was first introduced, it was a really hard sell. So is it starting to become mainstream, sort of, I don't say acceptable? That's probably not a good way of saying it.
Yeah, I mean, as part of my role, I'm an educator, and it's important to get around and make sure that the people specifying this have got the right information. There was a huge swing around last year where rather than me sort of ringing everyone and saying, would you like me to come and give you some education on our window systems? I was beginning to get asked to come to present. And that's reassuring in itself. So, and also not only that, but now it's the homeowners asking for it,
Awesome.
which is brilliant, where we want to be at. And so the architects are specifying it, and our support for the builders is brilliant, I believe, because I've been on site and chatted with them. Anything that they're needing, we're making sure they've got some checklists on their phones, and we've just got the full support going right through to install. So yeah, it's been very welcomed now, and they're needing the education. So I'm glad that we're there to support everyone on it.
That's fantastic, because I know getting something new out into our industry, which loves status quo, is always a bit of a challenge. Now, moving a little bit to what we talked about, the uPVC sort of story, is that there's always myths and challenges or excuses that we all have. That means, oh, we'll stay status quo. And I remember Benji saying to me a story about parallel importing with PVC windows, not uPVC. So uPVC is UV stabilized for anyone who's listening to this, so it's not going to break down in our sun. But they failed quite spectacularly, and of course then everyone got very gun shy, and I understand that. What are some of the other myths, excuses, challenges, etc., that you might have heard from homeowners or developers or builders or architects, and you just go, that's a story you're telling yourself and that's not actually true?
I believe the word plastic is hard to get our heads around, really. I think we're educated in our school systems that it's a bad word.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas I think we need to change that to be a bit more, one-use plastic is not clever. It's not intelligent. It's not doing our world any good. And it's, ruining the environment. So when we produce something that's recyclable and it's sustainable long term, and it's so much better for the health and well-being of everyone, and it's not doing any damage to our environment, that's where we need to sort of be educated on it. So yeah, just starting the education early, I guess, so that the kids aren't coming home from school saying, oh, you can't use plastic.
Can't use plastic. Yes. Plastic can be a good thing if it's used for the right reasons and the right application within the right system and consideration. And sounds like you guys are not just recycling, but you're looking even further to the whole life cycle cost analysis of what it is that you're doing, which I think is going to become something that we're going to be hearing a lot more about.
You will do, and it's very much the norm within the Western world. Again, it's all being done. It's not going to be something new that we're going to establish. The processes are already in place, throughout the world. So, and it's been done very well. Yeah. We'll implement that as the volume and it warrants it. So
yeah, absolutely. You have to grow sustainably as a New Zealand company. Yeah. So, what are some success stories? Because you must have some wonderful stories to tell people that that makes them feel good.
A lot of great stories coming up now. And one that comes to mind, I guess, is an architect. I went to his studio prior to Christmas. His studio is in his home, and it was school holidays, so the family were all there. And his children had been extremely sick in their younger years when they first moved into a home in New Zealand. Just respiratory issues, and then of course lack of sleep and everything. It was freezing on one side of the house, so they had a warmer side of the house, whereas that's what Kiwis are brought up with, wiping the crying windows each morning. That's our standard job. And brush your teeth, go and wipe the window, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's and a story that's actually the single glazing that's causing that, which in some cases it is, but not in our new builds.
That's right. And it's still happening, unfortunately, even with double glazing. With I mean, homes are busy places with humidity, boiling the jug and running the washing machine, and so the condensation and the wetness, they decided to educate themselves further, and they ended up building a passive home in his studios within that. And just walking in there, the feeling of comfort was amazing. And the Ambiance windows, uPVC windows and doors, were weather tight. It was raining, pouring. And the comfort in the home was, you can't really explain it until you've experienced it.
Yeah.
And the children had not been sick since living in that home. And so everyone was getting more sleep and everyone was happier, and business was doing well because he was, everything just fell into place.
Yeah.
And the experiencing the home comfort was a beautiful, environment, really. Yeah, throughout the whole home, not one side of the house either, throughout the whole home.
Throughout the whole home. So it works really well with high performance home design, because it's not just windows, but as we said, windows are a key part of it. And you guys understand this, and you work with other people in New Zealand, like ProClimber. You understand how it all needs to fit together.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do, which makes it super easy if you're an architect or architectural designer and you're wanting to learn about building better, or you're starting on that journey, or even in it. These guys can speak to that, which is just amazing. So give Stephanie a call. You guys go to trade events. As you say, you do quite a lot of educating stuff. Have you got any up and coming promotions or events that you want to let people know about?
Oh, we're very active in the trade show space, so you're bound to see us. Typically, Building Z and the homeowners shows. But what we really encourage is our showroom. There's only so much we can still take to a trade show, and I try my best when I come to visit and present with corner window samples, but there's only so much you can carry around the country. We really encourage you to come to the showroom and just call 0800 Ambiance and just schedule a time to come through, either with your architect or on your own with your family. Come and experience it. Then you'll really know the quality, the durability, the seal of the windows and doors, and the style. They're stunning. So we're ticking all the boxes, and the design flexibility is becoming better and better and better as we listen. And because we're New Zealand manufacturers, let us know what you need and we'll make it happen.
We love that. Now, Steph, just before you go, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
Ambiance is our key driver. So hello at Ambiance, 0800 Ambiance. Come to our website, ambiance.co.nz. Ambiance, it'll give you the feeling of ambience in the home. And of course, on our website, all our contact details.
Fantastic. I will put a link to Ambiance's website and perhaps that phone number too, so people can easily access it in the show notes.
Appreciate it.
Stephanie, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Lovely to chat as always. And I look forward to seeing everyone who I haven't got to yet around the country, and presenting and educating really is what I'm excited to show you.
Fantastic. We love that. So that's all from us today. I also want to extend an invitation to anybody who wants to understand building better. I'm really happy to have a quick chat with you. So I'll also drop a link that you can book a chat with me, or just link up with me in the DMs on the platform that you're viewing this. And if you do like this type of content and want to learn more, like Stephanie, I play a bit of an educator role. So follow this on whatever social media platform you found this on, because there will be more of this type of content, because we want to, and Stephanie and I both are on the same page with this. We really want to make this the year that we create healthy, comfortable, affordable homes for everyday people.
Perfect. Thank